And can you hear me? Yes, I can hear myself. I'm sorry for those who said one more. I can't sing, but I hope to sing to your hearts after this. Okay. Okay. It might come as quite a surprise to many of you that the first job I ever had was actually teaching young adults between the ages of 18 and 20, when I myself was only 21, pretty much their age and yours. In fact, for the most part of my career, my actual branding and my story has always been inspiring youth passions. Thank you. And as I went around seeking feedback from my colleagues, my friends, and even students about doing this particular talk, everyone's word of encouragement referred back to my passions. Now that's all good. At your age, you probably understand what I'm saying. At that point in time, I was at that stage where I was exploring my passions, as we all do. You find yourself jumping at every opportunity that speaks to your heart. And on many occasions, you kind of think, well, am I scattering my passions? Yes and no. So if you're at that point in life right now, don't worry about it, because I personally think that those diversions that came along the way have made me who I am today. However, about 8 to 10 years ago, I realized that I wasn't actually getting any closer to my, to my dreams. I was scattering my energy, but not getting anywhere closer to my dreams. So I decided to adopt a process, a mental process, that would help me redirect my passions towards my dreams. Today, I would like to take you through that process, which has transformed my life. I have never in my life felt so much closer to my dreams than I do today, and particularly this week. And those of you in the audience might actually know why. Okay, so what I'd like to also do is hope that you would also benefit from this process, as many of your peers have in the last couple of years. So let us take a moment to summon some of your passions. What are you truly passionate about? What do you love so much that you're obsessed with? Whatever it is. Yell it out if you're feeling quite expressive today. Whisper it to your friends, or write it down for affirmation. Now, from where you're at today, fully aware of those passions, whatever passion it is that speaks to your heart today, try to visualize the future. The future as you imagine it to be, and envisage yourself in it. And what does the road ahead look like? Is it silky, rosy, and smooth? Or is it bumpy with a few rocky mountains? Now, for you young people, how does it all make you feel? Many of you love the thrill of that roller coaster ride. We all do. However, there's always at the bottom of it all a niggling feeling of fear. And if that's the case for you, then let me share with you a quote from one of the most inspiring book of memoirs I have ever read, titled, "This Child Will Be Great," and I hope you're the ones who will be great, but you're not children anymore. By Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Liberia's president and Africa's first woman president. And she says, "If your dreams do not scare you, then they are not big enough. And the size of our dreams must exceed our current capacity for us to achieve them." So let's stay in that future for a moment. I'd like you to imagine or envisage, what role are you playing in it? Please dream big, for many of you will be leading in that future. If the role you are playing in this future aligns with your passions today, then you have nothing to fear. And if not, the generation of the GPS. Let me just remind you that we human beings have the most powerful inner GPS that can redirect our journey in life at any point in time. So go back to the drawing board, realign your passions, or reimagine the dream. It's never too late. Now you might think, here I've got my passions, got my dreams, they're aligned, and I'm going to hit success. Well, with a lot of luck, and maybe some wasta, that's possible. For most of us, however, that's not the case. There's a lot more to it than that. 3 weeks ago, a student that I actually don't know decided to share her passions and her dreams with me in the most unexpected corner of Zayed University campus. I mean, we all know we have those small talks and chit-chats in the ladies' washrooms, and they're usually lighthearted. Young Aisha, a nutrition major, decided to share her passions and her dreams with me. And it was different, so I was quite interested. What young Aisha didn't know was that at that point in time, my dream was to find people like her and make their dreams come true. So Aisha's story became my story, and this week it's been 20 Zayed University students' story, and they're all working together to achieve their dreams. And it's being showcased outside at the moment. So basically here we've got, Aisha has done something. She's taken the first step towards her dreams. She has shared her dream with me. In an age where we are all innovating and we're collaborating, there's always that fear of intellectual property. People will steal my idea. Well, I say, share your ideas with anyone and everyone, because the cost of not sharing it is much bigger. If Aisha had not told me what her dream was, I wouldn't have been in a position to help her. And the second reason you must share your ideas with everyone and anyone is that people can actually steal your idea, but they can never steal your story. In order for you to sell an idea, for anyone to buy into your idea, they have to believe in your story. So go ahead and share your ideas everywhere you go. So here we've got our passions, our dreams, and those actions in between. And you're now thinking, well, that's a good formula. I can achieve success. Well, there's still a missing link. You're almost there, but there's still a huge and crucial missing link that's going to get you there. And no one has answered this question or that provided that missing link better than a young man on the other side of the globe. Young Ryan, a Northeastern University student, sat next to me on a bus ride from Boston to New York last summer. I'm a university teacher. He studies at a university, and you can just imagine 5 hours of constant, you might call it gossip, maybe it was. I talked about my students, he talked about his professors, and at some point, Ryan decided to, he was a fine young man with a good head on his shoulders, had his passions, aligned with his dreams, was taking all the right actions. But Ryan was anxious, worried, concerned. And I just looked at him and I thought, well, Ryan, what is it exactly do you still need? I think you're doing all the right things. And Ryan just looked at me and went, perseverance. It's a long waiting game. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? It's a long waiting game. And I don't know if I can persevere. I don't know if I have what it takes to continue. And I'm going through all these diversions. Now remember, the road between your passions and your dreams is not linear. Allow for the diversions. That's where you learn. That's where you develop. When he said that, it immediately hit home with me. I had just finished working on a project with 100 UAE national youth from across the country who had come together to develop the UAE youth empowerment strategy. These young people had a lot of passion going for them, and they knew exactly what they wanted to achieve, the voice of youth being heard in the UAE. Now, what they lacked was the commitment to develop the skills that they needed to achieve those dreams. And of course, as the journey took longer, we lost quite a few of them. However, those who remained did not only achieve their dreams, but they actually developed their grit, the growth, the resilience, the initiative, and the tenacity. And this is the true grit that will not only shape their future and yours, but the future for many generations to come. And this also raises the question of the kind of children we want to raise today and raise in the future. Let's take, for example, my 6-year-old nephew. My 6-year-old nephew, whom I identified as a potential genius, humbly so, at the age of 3. At the age of 3. I was in Disneyland and bought him a robot factory. And my stay in the US was meant to last a week. It lasted 3 months. So can you imagine this kid waiting for that toy? What's a robot factory anyway? Send me pictures, comes on WhatsApp, tell me what it is about, what does it look like? It was really hard. So upon my flight back, of course he didn't sleep. And every hour, he'd come and ask his mom, when is she going to arrive? 5 o'clock in the afternoon meant nothing to a 6-year-old who had no concept of time. So then eventually my mom decided to tell him, well, after lunch. And I just looked at her, typical of his generation. And what if I don't want to have lunch? Okay, time isn't going to go any faster, but typical of his generation, you want time to go faster? Well, I would love for it to go slower so I can breathe. But I understand. So here's my young nephew. I arrived, and my luggage didn't arrive. Did you see that face? And there was no way I could explain that his aunt forgot his factory in Dubai. I wasn't even flying from Dubai. But I couldn't explain the concept of my luggage didn't arrive. It actually took 3 days for the luggage to arrive, and the luggage that had his toy was the last to arrive. So now the first day, of course, interesting observation here. The first day I left the house because I just couldn't imagine him calling me or asking me every hour. But he did, because he found an opportunity to take anyone's phone to ask me when the luggage would arrive. The next day, he asked less. And on the third, he didn't ask, but he kept saying to me, I haven't forgotten, I'm waiting. Fair enough. But what I realized from this little incident that I had not even planned was that when in the past, I would have felt so guilty keeping him for a year before I bought him a toy that was $300 worth, I actually felt like I had given my nephew the best gift ever, teaching him how to wait. In this age where our actions are driven by instant gratification instead of our aspirations and our dreams, it is not only important for us to realize that true grit, that growth, resilience, initiative, and tenacity does not happen overnight. And for us, for our passions to find home in a fulfilling dream, they need to be aligned, and you need to act and persevere. So, let's go back to those passions that you summoned earlier. If you did, call them back on. Those passions that you summoned earlier. If you're anything like my students, you probably have some very light-hearted passions. And that's all right. There is no such thing as an invalid passion. However, if your passion is baking cupcakes, very common trend at Zayed University, our entrepreneurial carnival sell cupcakes everywhere. And I honestly have that burning desire to find out what is really that story behind the cupcakes. And I honestly go down there every single year and I ask that question, and my students just giggle. But I'm serious. What's the deal with the cupcake? How are these cupcakes different from that cupcake? And I know they sell. I certainly know they sell, because you wouldn't have them there if they didn't sell. But my question for you is, where is the social responsibility towards the rate of obesity and diabetes in the country? If you're aware of that, then you are definitely shaping the future. On the other hand, there are some of you who have some very serious humanitarian passions about changing the world. And believe me, the world today needs many more of you. However, my question is, what actions are you taking? What baby steps are you making on a daily basis to actually manifest those passions that will get you closer to your dreams? I know some of you do take actions, but many of you don't. There is something truly satisfying about being able to plant the seeds towards a healthy future. So as you journey towards that future that seems so far-fetched, I want you to just remember, the future starts today. Thank you. Now, those of you who know me, I cannot end on a note like that. You had some entertainment. Can I give you a couple of seconds of it? I'd like you on the count of 3 to repeat that statement with me. Does anybody remember what it is? The future starts today. You can count if you like. We'll go backwards from 3 to 1. 3, 2, 1.
The future starts today.
Excellent. On your way out, please pick up a leaflet for a competition and follow the hashtag of Shaping the Future. You need to write a very short line of an action you've taken between today and the end of the month towards achieving your dreams. And the first 5 people will win a free coaching session with a professional coach. So get on to it. The conversation does not end here, please. Thank you very much.